Welcome to another episode of Positive Solutions for Life. This is Peggy Meyer. Today's guest is Nadege Saysana. N- Everyone calls her Nan, so we're just going to call her Nan. And Nan is a trained life and weight loss coach who is certified from the Life Coach School and Corinne Crabtree's No BS Weight Loss University. She once was a stress eater, eating too much and feeling like food was controlling her, but now she is in control. At 50, Nan became a bodybuilder. She lost 3 dress sizes and now feels strong, healthy, and happy. And she's looking forward to living the second half of her life to the fullest. For over 5 years, Nan has helped people stop overeating, beat cravings, and reach their weight loss goals. She helps people feel proud and in control no matter what. Nan's approach is simple, kind, and focuses on thoughts. She believes that change can be easy and fun if you have the right mindset and make small, healthy habits. Nan believes everyone should enjoy and create a life they love. So, welcome, coming all the way from Paris. Welcome, Nan.
Thank you so much for having me, Peggy. Thank you so much. I love being here.
Oh, I love having you, and I'm gonna love our conversation. Um, you kind of talk like you're the cravings coach, and I love that your background, food, freedom, fast. I mean, we're all in. I feel like we go in cycles about feeling like we're in control of what we're doing, and then we fall out of control and we feel just like overwhelmed and consumed by all the food that's around us. But I
Mhm.
want to have the listeners just to know a little bit more about you. So could you start the conversation by just sharing just a little bit more about your personal journey, you, and how it has led to where you are today?
Right, yes. So I used to lead a perfectly normal life. I had those dreams when I was a teenager. I'm going to live in Paris. I'm going to marry the Prince Charming, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 2 kids. I'm going to have a cat, and I'm going to run a marathon. And I checked all the boxes. And yet I felt miserable. So I really thought that everything, I would be happy if I checked the boxes.
Mhm.
And it took us 8 years to have our daughter. We had a son, wonderful, but then we couldn't have a second child. And when we finally had that second child, I was thinking, well, I should be thrilled. I should be overjoyed. And yet I'm still feeling miserable. What's going on? And what I was doing when I was feeling miserable is that I would eat, but not just a little snack here and there, but I would really binge. What is called binge. I didn't know it was a binge eating disorder. Now I do, but I would know definitely that I would raid the pantry. I would
Mhm.
start the Nutella jar, the big one, and I
Yep.
would finish it in one go. And I knew it was not healthy. I was super ashamed of doing
Mhm.
this, but it's as if there was no way I could do something else.
Mhm.
So I felt like an addict, really. I needed the food because the pain was so intense.
Mhm.
And I knew there was something wrong. I knew that was not normal. That's definitely not the way I wanted to live. So I kept looking. I kept looking for a solution. And like many people, I thought dieting was the way to go. So I kept on dieting. And little did I know exactly what you said, that then that's the perfect way to go in cycle. That's when we control and then we release control. It's just like really stretching a rubber band. We stretch it to the max,
Yep.
restricting our diet, being super disciplined, super organized, and in control. And then we can't take it anymore because of all the deprivation and restriction, and
Mhm.
then we let go of the rubber band, and then it goes all over the place, and then we overeat.
Yes.
And that's the cycle I was in all the time: binging, restricting. I didn't know that the restriction fed the binging,
Mhm.
and vice versa.
Mhm.
But I kept looking for a solution until I finally heard a podcast by Brooke Castillo, which is still out there, called the Life Coach School podcast. And that's when I understood that my behavior, the binging that I so wanted to let go of, the binging was not coming randomly here and there in my life. It was because I was feeling miserable. And I was feeling miserable not because of my life, because my life was fine, but it was coming from my thoughts, the frustration, the stress, the exhaustion at the end of the day. That was what was causing my misery. And that was what was driving me to overeat, as if it could solve for the misery I was feeling.
Mhm.
It was really like putting a band-aid on a deep wound. It
Yeah.
was not working, but in the moment, it felt slightly better, like
Yeah.
something I could do. So that's what led me to discover this whole thing, that our thoughts create our emotions, that drive our actions, that
Mhm.
create our result. And if we know that, if we're aware of that pattern,
Mhm.
which is always at play, whatever we do, whatever
Mhm.
we feel, whatever we think, then we can take control of it.
Yeah.
We can change the way we behave.
Yeah.
And I think I still have chills when I think of this. This is magic.
I know, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I was like, I didn't know where you were going to go with that, but I have this like worksheet that I used to give out all my clients, and it had the same thing that you just talked about, thoughts, feelings, behaviors in it, and like how you respond, and it's all on there, and it's a circular thing. It just like you can enter at any point, but to have control starts with our thoughts. And we can control. It's not something that we're just like haphazardly going through life with. And it's just like once we get the concept that we are in control of our thoughts and we can choose them.
Definitely. Yes.
And it can make a huge difference, just like you.
Mm-mm. Yes, we can choose them. We don't know that all the time because, first of all, we're not aware of a thought.
Mm-hmm.
When I first
Mm-hmm.
heard that podcast, I was thinking, but what's a thought? And really, it's just a sentence and can be, I'm fat or I'm doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Those are thoughts, just a little sentence that we think and that we believe. And I love what you said. Yes, we can choose them. It's really, I love this analogy. It's really as if I was going to the restaurant and there's the menu and I'm picking, I can choose whatever I want on this menu.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, I can choose, oh, my life is awful, or, well, I just love my life.
Yeah.
And both,
I had this vision when you were saying that with this menu. And I was just like, oh, okay. I'm just like, oh, my life is just crappy, I'm just in misery. And I see this menu. Okay, if you're in misery, you choose this food. Like, and for me, and for me, it would be like all the desserts, like the sweet
mm,
stuff, the cookies, the brownies, all of that stuff. I would like, oh yeah, there's a whole menu of those. And then I would just, you can just binge out on those. And then,
mm,
but when you're feeling, hey, I feel great, I feel light, I'm happy, and here's a menu of food that you choose from. And you know what? Like, I'll choose a salad. I'll choose some
mm,
fruit. I will choose some, chicken. And, like that's a totally different menu
definitely.
just from how I feel.
Mm, this is exactly how it works.
That's
Yes,
that. I mean, I love that visual. I'm sorry, I got that visual from you. And it's like, oh my God,
brilliant.
that analogy is so good. Like,
Yes, and it's the same thing. You can play with this analogy. You can think about, yes, it's just like going to the music store and
mhm,
deciding what music, what genre you're going to
mhm,
listen to, or going to the DIY store and choosing the color. Okay,
yeah,
what color do I want to feel today? What color do I want to put in my flat today, in my
yeah,
house today? You get
yeah,
to choose that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. So we can really choose our life,
Mm,
but feeling good like makes the choices so much easier.
mm,
So
definitely.
how did you then like, okay, you started like, oh, I can change my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take us through that. Like, what did you learn from that? And now what do you teach others about that?
Well, exactly the same thing. That is to say, to start where we are. So if we're feeling miserable, I keep going back to that. Well, we are feeling
Yeah,
miserable.
yeah.
So, but we can change. So taking them from where they are to something better.
Hmm.
I really like to use another analogy, the race. I used to run marathons. So you can't cross the finish line if you're still in the starting block. So this is where we need to start. So yes, I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad because I'm thinking and believing a thought.
Hmm.
Right now, this is where I am. It may feel like there's no other choice. Sometimes it feels so deep because sometimes the thoughts are beliefs we've inherited from generations
Yeah.
before us, or thoughts we deeply believe and we really think that it's a
Hmm.
fact, it's
Hmm.
what it is instead
Yeah.
of a choice. And so, this is why we really need to show ourselves compassion with just simply being okay, yes, of course, I'm feeling terrible because I think and I believe this terrible thought. It
Hmm.
makes perfect sense. Anyone else who would believe exactly the same thing would feel exactly the same way. Good to know. Now what?
Hmm.
And slowly but surely, we can move to something different by thinking, okay, I'm thinking this thought. Doesn't mean anything about me, doesn't mean anything about my life, it doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It's just that, okay, I'm there at it's the starting point of the race. That's all it is.
Yep. Yep.
And I want to go there. I want to think I'm an amazing person. I want to believe I deserve the best.
Hmm.
Salad and a little bit of chocolate if I want to. So how do I go from my life's terrible, I'm a terrible person, I'm a failure, to yeah, I deserve the best? And maybe it is by thinking, okay, right now here I am, and one day it will be effortless for me to believe I deserve the best.
Hmm.
I want to be the one who thinks and believes I deserve the best. I'm
Hmm.
learning to think and believe I deserve the best.
Hmm.
And the next step could be to find evidence that yes, I deserve the best. to find evidence in our current life. So
Mhm.
yes, sometimes I've already felt and believed that I deserve the best. So what is the proof? What is the evidence already there that I do deserve the best?
Yeah.
What was the best that was given to me, perhaps?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and how can I create more of that? How can I bring more evidence that yes, I do deserve the best, and I'm becoming that person?
Yeah.
So it's really focusing on what we want
Mhm.
and building as much evidence as possible around that. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm envisioning, I mean, you said a marathon and I'm like, I'm not that much of a runner, but I'm like, but I see this mountain ahead of us,
Mm,
and to get there, to get to where we want to be, we got to take a step.
mm, mm,
And each of these little steps is learning about ourselves. So first we have to be aware of our thoughts and
mm,
then how our thoughts are affecting us. But we have to also look at the thoughts going, you know what? Sometimes they're not true at all. They're like
mm,
something that maybe we had put together because oftentimes we believe our thoughts
mm, mm.
as the truth, but they're really not. They're just fleeting things that come in and they attach to us. Like,
Yes.
and and so we have to like unravel it. Is that true? Is it not true? But sometimes then, it's like, okay, if I really want to be this person, we do have examples in our lives that
Mhm.
we have demonstrated that we have lived that before.
Mhm.
And so we need to pull those from our memory and use those, not pull the failures out because that's not going to help us take a step. So
Mm,
to help us move forward, we got to pull out those, times that people have cheered us on, that we've done well, and just
mhm.
focus on those and like kind of pick those apart and like, how did that happen?
Exactly.
So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, so you're just kind of picking apart little things of your life and you're just like building the evidence, like you said, building the evidence, like you can do this. You've done this before in this situation. You can use
Mhm.
those same things and apply it in this situation to get you to move forward.
Totally. Yes. I love what you're saying. Yes. Yes. And I love that. Yes, already we have achieved so many things in
Mhm.
our life. And as you said, how did we can ask ourselves, how did we get there? And we can go back. Yes, I got that result, whatever it was, because I took that action because I was feeling this way, because I was thinking this thought. It may
Mhm.
be a totally different topic. It may be a totally different area of your life, but that could still be useful
Mhm.
because that thought that helped you create that result in that other area, maybe you could adapted for this current challenge that you're having and this current result that you do want to create. So I love that idea. And I like what you said about past failures. It's okay to fail. It's like the hero's journey.
Yeah,
If we were watching a movie and there was no obstacle and the hero never fell, how boring would that be?
nobody
We
would
are
like
the
those movies.
we don't. We don't. So we are the hero of our own journey. So it makes perfect sense that there are ups and downs, and we learn with the failures. I love that quote by Nelson Mandela that you probably know. I never lose. I either win or learn. So we're always getting something out of whatever we're experiencing that helps us move forward.
Right.
So yeah,
Right. It's a mindset thing. Is it's like we have to
definitely.
find like the silver lining in,
Mm,
in a situation, in any kind of experience. Like, what can I learn from this? And that has a totally different vibe to it
mhm,
than, oh crap, this happened to me. And it's like, no,
mhm,
like what's a positive that come out of it? What can you be
mhm.
grateful for learning from this? Because
Yeah.
everything is a learning experience, at least in my mind it is. And for those that are striving, they do think that way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And oh crap, that's happened to me. This is so, well, this is what I used to think all the time. Sometimes, of course, I still do, but that it's just as if, yeah, I am completely powerless over what's happening to me. It's the passive voice that's happened to me. But yeah, maybe some things happen, but I love what you said. What can I learn from this? What can I do with this?
Mhm.
How can I reach my goal or I can move forward regardless of this new circumstance that maybe I
Yes,
didn't want.
right, right. I know. And it says, and we build those things up, and it's easier to think that way.
Mhm.
It's easier to take that next step. It's
Mm-mm.
easier to, once you see it in one part of your life and going, oh, I don't have to reinvent the wheel just because just because I'm home and doing this is not much different than when I'm at work doing this because the
Mhm.
thought processes are similar. It's
Yes,
the topics are different. So,
exactly.
so if you've succeeded in one part of your life, take those lessons and apply it
Mhm.
to another part of your life. because
Yeah.
you can be a rock star and all of that. So then put it all together and whoa, you're going to get to the end
Mhm.
of the finish line faster. You're going to get to the top of the mountain a little bit faster.
Yes. Yes, because I agree with you. The thought process is similar because it's the same brain. It's still
Yes.
your brain. So you can do this wherever you are. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. So what kind of things when clients come to you, what kind of struggles or like thoughts are like the most common ones that
Mhm.
people have that like, create stumbling blocks?
Mhm. Yes. And I think that, well, the first one could be not taking responsibility or not seeing their power
Mm.
in their situation. That
Hmm.
could be the first one. So this, oh crap, that's happened to me.
Hmm.
And also something that I notice very often is the blame. When they realize, okay, I've created this in my life. I didn't know I was thinking that, and I didn't know my thoughts were creating my result. But now I see it. Oh, why did I do that? So
Hmm.
they're blaming themselves, they're shaming themselves, they're creating guilt. But
Yeah.
that never helps
No.
because when we're guilty, it's as if we're stuck in a prison. We can't move forward. So
Hmm.
it's the first step is awareness
Hmm.
that yes, we are creating our results, but then we don't need the blame. We don't need to stay there. We can take ownership, we can take responsibility, and from that place,
Hmm.
we can move forward and decide, okay, I didn't know I was doing this. I certainly didn't do it on purpose, but now I
Right.
see I want something different. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, moving towards something more neutral, just that, yep,
Mhm.
this is acceptance. Yes, this is what I created
Yeah. Yeah.
without, intentionally wanting it. Now what? And so
Right.
it's this shift
Yeah.
towards what they want more. It's just that, what can I do now?
Yeah. I really love the part that you said, you didn't do these things on purpose. Like
Mhm.
you didn't intentionally set out to, sabotage your good intentions of
Mhm.
eating well. It's just how do we manage our emotions and our thoughts? We have to be aware of it and being really honest with ourselves shouldn't put the guilt on us for that because it's just like, oh, I was doing that. Like I was thinking this and it made me feel like this, and then I wanted to go eat that. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, kind of taking a step back, I feel like we're like looking at it from a different perspective, not like
Yes.
putting it you. It's just like, let's just take the facts here. Let's go cause and effect. Like
Mhm.
this thought created this feeling, created me wanting to go eat this. Like,
Yes.
okay, so if I don't want to have that, like, it's okay. I didn't do it on purpose. But now that I know the chain of events,
Mhm.
chain of thoughts, feelings, behaviors, I can interrupt that pattern that I
Yes.
created. And then
Totally.
there's no guilt or shame in that. Like
Absolutely.
you can just take another road, just like a detour. Like you're going somewhere, boom, 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 boom. Your
Mhm.
well-traveled road that you're used to all of a sudden has a roadblock, and it's like, oh, that might be a good thing.
Yes.
We can go around it a different way and maybe we can learn something and maybe we can stop that. Maybe we don't need to
Mhm.
have that pattern continue.
Yes. No, I love what you're saying about making, yeah, looking at it from a different perspective, being more neutral. Because
Mhm.
very often my clients say, well, I've eaten so many cookies. And And I like to bring it back to the facts, as you said.
Mhm.
What does it mean? So many cookies. That sounds so dramatic. That
Mhm.
sounds so bad, as if they've really done something bad. But really, so many, maybe two cookies, or maybe two packets of cookies, but still, there's a definite number.
Mhm.
And when we make it very neutral, very factual,
Mhm.
the pressure, the tension goes down.
Yeah.
And same thing when we think, oh, I've eaten this food, it's so bad. Okay, what's this food? It's made up of chemical ingredients. I've eaten this. Isn't this what we actually do as human beings? We feed ourselves with food,
Mhm.
and we don't have to make it mean something terrible about us. It's just, no, I've taken that action that lots of human beings take.
Mhm.
It's okay. And that neutrality, that acceptance, that, making it, as you said,
Mhm.
as if something very neutral on our way from here to there, just like
Mhm.
the latitude or longitude on our
Yeah.
itinerary,
Yeah.
that makes it so much better than
Mhm.
the drama that the
Yeah.
brain is so good at creating because
Yeah.
we love drama, don't we?
Oh, yes. I mean, and what I want to really emphasize what you're saying is like we put the meaning on something.
Hmm.
We put, we could have some bad and meaning to, I ate all these cookies. Well,
Yes.
first, like, what are we talking about? Like, we have to
Mm-mm.
be on the same level. Like, your definition of all these cookies might be different than mine. You
Yeah.
know, there could have only been three cookies left, and you ate all of them. Or it
Mm-mm.
could have been the entire package of Oreos and you ate all of them. That's a little bit different, but whatever meaning you interpret that, that was a seems like a bad thing to you. Like,
Yes,
and we have to like make sure that we are separating the meaning from the actual thing that took place because we
totally.
interpret it different. And if we interpret it one way, that it's a really bad thing, it's going to set up another cycle of negative thinking.
Exactly. From which we want probably to run away by eating a bit more. And
I already ate all those cookies, so why not eat,
exactly. Yeah.
XYZ,
And
the
it's
ice cream that's in the fridge, whatever.
exactly.
Like,
And
because
it's this all or nothing thinking, well, I might as well. I've ruined the day anyway. I've messed it up anyway. I might as well. It's really this rubber band again at
yeah,
place. Just like, okay,
yes,
if I can't do this perfectly, then I might as well not do it at all.
yeah,
Except that it's one way of thinking about it. We can
mhm,
also think of it, okay, I didn't expect this. It happened. This is not what I wanted.
mhm,
Okay. Instead of, you know, starting all over on Monday, what
yeah,
about starting all over right now? What
right,
about going back on track right
yeah,
now
yeah,
instead of, yeah, making it very dramatic, this
right,
fictional, this story again? It's just, no, okay, this is what I want. Let's go back.
yeah.
It's okay.
Because
Nothing's
each
gone wrong.
moment is a choice.
Mm,
We
absolutely.
don't have to delay the choice to
Yes.
Monday.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I know some like, well, I have to start my diet on Monday. Well, why not in the
Yes,
next 2 minutes? Like,
exactly. Yeah,
you
but
get
it's so
back on
common.
track.
It's so common. On Monday, I start on Monday. I start on the first day of the month. I'll start on my birthday. I start, of course, on New Year's.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but why? This is completely made up. The calendar system is a human construct anyway.
Right.
So we can start whenever we want to. I love what you said. Each moment is a choice. Why not now?
Yeah,
How is that going to benefit us more to start now
yeah,
rather than next month?
yeah. Well, if you wait till Monday and you're like, oh crap, I've already screwed up. So, it's Wednesday or something and I have to start on a Monday, then I have 4 days to make myself feel even worse. And
Yes.
will I want to start on Monday
Mm-mm-mm.
when
Yes.
that comes around? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Because we'll be
Yes.
wallowing in all of our guilt and shame and our negative thoughts. And then we'll go, well, I can't start until the next Monday.
Yeah.
So when do you start? You
Mhm.
start by making a choice.
Absolutely. And one of those choices could actually be not to feel guilt or shame, but just to
Mhm.
feel that acceptance, that compassion we talked about.
Yeah, yeah. Or just
Because
acknowledge the feeling that you're feeling.
yes, absolutely.
Because,
Absolutely.
hey, what is this feeling for me? I'm
Mm.
frustrated. I'm, angry. I'm you could be really happy, whatever
Yes,
it
that
is.
too.
Yeah, we can have happy emotions. We can have positive emotions. Like it
Definitely.
doesn't always have to be bad. So,
No.
oh my gosh. So, how can people find out more about you and
Mhm.
your coaching?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've been doing for a while now, and I love that, is I do a webinar on Tuesdays, and it's called Stop Overeating Now with no guilt, no rules, no more restarting. So if it's free webinar, so if your audience would like to come and just see
Mhm.
all these components of the coaching, they're very welcome. That's super fun.
Yes, that sounds like super fun. Yes, I will put the whatever link that is. I'll get that information in the show notes so our listeners can really just, tap on that and be able to go to that anytime.
Yes. Yes. They can also find me on Instagram, like many people, at
Mhm.
nan.saysana.coaching, where I post a little bit of reels, a little bit of carousel, a little bit of everything
Yeah.
with tips on how to stop overeating. Yes.
Yes.
Whether it's mindless munching, by the way, or binge eating, it's all related to
Mhm.
the emotions that we don't
Mhm.
want to feel and our thoughts, our thought
Yeah.
process. Yes.
Yes. I know because it always goes back to those thoughts and those feelings, and those
Absolutely.
feelings are triggered by those thoughts. So, just being aware is the more we can, I feel like I see that over and over again, but we have to be reminded about that. We have to be reminded that we have a choice and that
Mhm.
our thoughts trigger a lot of stuff for us. And
Yes.
and it just, we just got to get it
Mhm.
in our brains, but we have to
Yes.
be reminded all the time.
All the time, yes. And even the best coaches, even master coaches, need to be reminded all the time. I've been coaching lots of people, lots of
Mhm.
from very different backgrounds. They're supposed to know that. I'm supposed to know that too.
Right.
But of course, I always fall in the trap too,
Yes.
because when you're in your jar, you can't read the label from the inside. It's like the best hairdresser in the world. They're doing amazing
Yeah.
haircut to their clients, but to do their own, that would be very different, very challenging. So it's just normal. We have blind spots.
Yes.
That's what
Yes,
it
we
is.
do. Yes, we
Mhm.
do. And we just need to, sometimes we need other people to help us recognize those
Yes.
because we're in our little jar
Yes.
and we don't know exactly what's on the outside. Like,
Mhm.
what are we supposed to be doing? Who am
Yeah,
I? We don't see it. So we need other people to help us with that. So I
definitely.
appreciate that. So yeah, and your Instagram, you have a YouTube channel. Do you do some of that stuff on there too?
I do, yes, I do. So I read my blog for my YouTube channel. I have a few episodes where I explain what we call the model. This,
Mhm.
yes, the circumstances that may trigger thoughts that create your feelings, that drive your actions, and that create your results. So I do that. I explain that a little bit with detailed situations. So that's super
Awesome.
fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm like I gotta go back more because even here we have so many analogies and people learn so much from visuals and analogies that it's easier to learn that way. So I really appreciate
Mhm.
those that you like help me just put things together for my own brain and so people can go to the YouTube, check those out. Tuesdays you have a free webinar and go to Instagram, check all those things out. So thank you so much for joining me today, Nan. As we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to leave the listeners with? Something that maybe we haven't touched on that
Mhm.
you want to touch on, or a thought or a quote that you would like to leave them with?
Yes. So there's one that I like particularly, which is be curious, not furious. So there's
Mm,
just one letter difference, but it completely changes the whole thing.
yes.
Because it's exactly what we were talking about. When we're furious with ourselves, when we're mad at our behavior, when we shame and blame ourselves, we stay stuck. Or we may even move backwards, not helping.
Mhm,
But if we're curious and
mhm,
we really want to know what's going on,
mhm,
then we guarantee moving forward. It's really, I realized that, when as I was training to be a coach, there was this why question that we kept asking. But
mhm.
I also realized with my son, when my son was small, he kept on saying, "But why and why?" And that didn't sound the same at all. So this question, why, may have two different intonations. The "but why," which is furious, and the
Right.
"why," which is curious. One is going to keep you stuck. The other one is going to help you move forward. So be aware of this. And I think that when I started being aware of that difference, that
Mhm.
changed a lot of things for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Because that is just part of how we are thinking and the meaning that we give it that we were talking
Mhm.
about earlier. You
Totally.
know, that why can be furious, it could be or it could be like, oh, like what is that? And be
Yes.
that curious aspect. And we just need to, what meaning do we want to give it?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
what meaning do we want to give ourselves? We want to give ourselves the gift of living the best second half of our life. I mean,
Yes.
I think that is awesome because that
Definitely.
is one of my things too, is it's like, yep, I want to look forward to the next best second half of my life. So
Mhm.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Nan. This was amazing. I love all of what we talked about, thoughts, feelings, behaviors, how we can choose our behaviors, our thoughts, how we feel, and ultimately what we put in our mouths. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was super fun.
It was. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.